Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for having me here at the University of Missouri St. Louis with our AFP friends. We love our partnership with the AFP. It's great because it's reasonable costed training for all of the employees at UMSL. So we benefit and we appreciate it, and our folks give back and volunteer too. And so it's a great partnership. We're just honored to have you on our campus. And so this morning, to kind of set the stage, if you will, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs and the tricks of the trade or the specific challenges we have with major gift fundraising. I think the panel is going to be doing that for us today. But what I'd like to do is talk a couple minutes about what I'm calling 7 foundational success factors. There's going to be 7 foundational success factors for major gift fundraisers. Kind of a mouthful. But 7 foundational success factors. So there's probably many more factors than the 7 I'm going to be talking about that you might consider foundational, or even more foundational than the 7 I'm going to talk a few minutes about. But these are 7 that are certainly important to me, and I guarantee you, if you demonstrate, live by these 7 success factors, you're going to be successful in major gift fundraising. This I know. So, number 1, believe that your work is honorable work. Number 1, this is a success factor, it's foundational. Believe that your work is honorable work. You know, I think sometimes people have these approach us like, grab your wallet, close your purse, here comes the fundraiser. Do you feel insulted by comments like that? I do, because I feel the work is just the opposite. Our work is the most honorable of work. What we get to do is we get to engage with people and tell them about organizations that are having terrific impact in the lives of others and in our world. We have these terrific positions of responsibility to go and engage others in the community and to invite them to join us in this important mission that we represent. That's honorable work. I think it's work that's deserving of respect. And in fact, those who are in the business of giving away major gifts, they respect us as major gift fundraisers. They know it's not easy work, they know it's challenging work, and they appreciate a good major gift fundraiser when they encounter one. It's honorable work. Donors, they're the greatest people on earth, don't you think? You think about the people we get to interact with, you, me, us. We get to interact with some of the finest people on this planet, the brightest people on the planet, people who are very strategic in taking their wealth and trying to make the greatest impact possible in the world. These are people we get to engage with. It's such a privilege. It's such a privilege. And they like us, by the way. They come to like us so often and appreciate our style, our personalities, how we represent our organizations, how we engage with them. I don't know that there's more honorable work. Do you? We get to be facilitators between great philanthropists and great organizations. We stand in the middle, if you will, brokering, identifying the passions of these donors with the passions, the heart of the mission of our organizations. And when we bring them together, terrific things happen. So I want you to feel lifted up by this. It's an honorable profession. We do honorable work. We do priceless work. Because lives are changed, the world is helped because we do the work that we do. So number 1, honorable. Number 2, it's all about the donors. It's not about you, it's not about me. Of course it's about you and me, but it's not about you, it's not about me. It's really all about the donors. We want to focus on the donors. We want to be donor-centric, understand what the donors love and care about and are concerned about the most, and consider how can we bring what we represent and connect that passion as profoundly as possible. When we do that, the larger gifts and the largest gifts can come from donors, when we can align our mission with their passions. So it's about understanding the donors. And what we get to do in our work is we can unleash, if you will, or guide the unleashing of transformational gifts. Gifts that can affect many, many lives, the outcome of our planet, and so on and so forth. It's so important to focus and understand the donors. I'm thinking of 2 donors to our university, Kirk and Maureen Richter. Kirk marks his 50th anniversary. He was in the 2nd graduating class at UMSL, and Kirk has been associated with our university for 50 years. plus his education, 54 years. And Kirk and his wife Maureen have been engaged for many years, and earlier this month at our annual Founders Dinner, they were presented the Des and Mary Ann Lee Medal for Philanthropy, which is our highest recognition for philanthropy at our university, for achieving the $5 million milestone in cumulative giving. Now at UMSL, by the way, that's really, really big money. And you'd never know it. They're that millionaire next door. They're humble, they're understated. It's that intense, quiet St. Louis pride I think we run into so often. No bravado with them. Salt of the earth kind of people, having such a great impact. And what really became a transformational gift for our university is embedded in that $5 million is a significant portion thereof was given as cash for our business school. And we just opened a new business school building this fall semester. It's a gorgeous facility. It's state of the art. And it's being used 24/7, 365. Like the students have moved in, they're inhabiting the space. And so are the faculty, by the way. And you think Kirk and Maureen, when they walk into that facility, they don't own the place, right? They do in the sense that, look at all these students. Their lives are being changed. They're having the very best of a business school education. I, Kirk, know what it meant for me and how I've used this education. Just think, Maureen, what we've put together for this institution and how it's going to affect countless lives. And who knows what these young people will go forth and do in their careers to change the world. We've had a direct hand in that, Maureen, haven't we? Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing. It's about the donors. Third, we're stewards of relationships. We are stewards. We don't own the relationships. They don't belong to you. They don't belong to me. They belong to our organization, and we're stewards. You know, Kirk and Maureen, they've been stewarded by the university long before I got to UMSL. I've been here, I'm in my 10th year. So there were predecessors that cared and nurtured and supported the Richters. Many more besides me, but I'm in the mix of it, are supporting the Richters. And at some point in time, my successors, our successors, will be supporting the Richters until they're no longer with us, in this form at least. And so we have to tread lightly, we have to be respectful, and we need to have the long view about donors. Now sometimes donors, their relationships to our organizations wax and wane. You ever had that really good donor that suddenly disappears on you and you wonder, well, where on earth did they go? And you make overtures to them and it just seems like it's a brick wall. You know, when you have the long view, when you're thinking about the lifetime of the donor and that lifetime relationship, we can relax a little bit. We keep after them, we represent, we communicate with them, and oftentimes, most often, eventually they're going to come back and reconnect with our organizations. But we have to have that long view. When a donor says no, we know the drill. It's a no for now, it's not a no forever. It's all about how we handle the relationship that can turn no's into some magnificent yeses over time. Fourthly, 4, 5, and 6, competence, confidence, and character. Competence, competence, and character. So competence. We need to be competent and develop our competencies as fundraisers. You know, competence is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. And don't we want to be successful in what we do, and don't we want to be efficient in how we go about doing it so that we can expand our impact as broad as possible in our roles as major gift fundraisers. You know, competence accrues over time and it accrues over experience. There's really no shortcut to competence. You have to work at it and keep working at it over time and gradually by learning from our experiences, both failures and successes. And more often, as we know, failure can be far more powerful lessons for us. By learning from our encounters, reflecting on them, we grow in this competence that will serve us well for the next donor, the next prospect, and so on and so forth. Because every donor is different than the next, aren't they? Anybody know two donors that are alike? There's no such thing. Each one is uniquely different, with unique interests, with unique needs and unique circumstances. And the more we acquire this basis of competence, the more we can engage them effectively and successfully. You know, with our staff, usually, almost always, before I go out on a call, I'll talk with one or more of them about the call I'm going to go out on. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do on that call. I need help. Please help me. Sometimes it's, well, this is what I'm thinking of doing, and this is how I was going to set it up, and this is what I'm going to say. What do you think about it? And I'll get their input. I'll, perhaps adjust my plans. I'll go and have the call, and when I come back, I will talk to that person or persons with whom I engaged on my staff. And believe it or not, if I failed or if I've had a failure in the course of the call, I admit it. I tell them, this is how I blew it. This is how I could have been better. And why do I do that? Because number one, I don't want to fail that way again. But secondly, I want to save them the trouble so that they don't fail that way. But we have to be willing to be engaging and honest and transparent about the work that we do. Now, how many of you are the only major gift fundraiser in your shop? All right, a goodly number of us. You're not alone, and we're not meant to be alone. That's why we have the AFP, those of you who are your sole major gift fundraisers in your shop. Build a network of relationships so you can have, if you're not sure what to do on a call, don't go in blind and unsure. No, get the resources you need to prepare well so that you can go into that call and execute it effectively. So competence. Fifth would be confidence, to be confident. Now with confidence, I'm not talking about something surfacey, being cocky, having bravado. That's not the confidence I'm talking, that's not confidence anyway. But some people may define confidence that way. Confidence is trust in one's abilities, one's qualities, one's judgment. Trusting in your own abilities, your qualities, your judgment. And confidence, like competence, really they go hand in hand. Confidence grows over time through these real life experiences that we have had. And the more experiences, the more engagement we have in major gift fundraising, our confidence grows as our competence deepens. And then what we have to do is, again, apply these to every situation we encounter. There's a couple other donors here at the University of Missouri St. Louis, Stan and Terry Frerks. Stan and Terry Frerks also have received the Medal for Philanthropy from the university. They were our first alumni, they both have degrees from our university, to reach the $5 million milestone. And a year ago, September, we recognized and honored them for that. But they were the first. And those of you who know Dr. Brenda McPhail, she's now retired, Beth Crum is in her role at the university. And I had lunch with them one day, and we wanted to talk to them about getting them to $5 million and what that could do for the university, what it would do for them, and what leadership that would bring to the university. And so we're having this great lunch, and we shifted and we asked a question about their estate. And the response was, well, we don't have that all worked out yet. We're not in the position to talk about giving from our estate. So, with what little competence and confidence I've accrued over time, I smiled. I said, well, isn't that something? I totally get where you're coming from. But you know what? That's precisely why we invited you to lunch. We wanted to have a conversation about that. Would you mind, even though I understand what you said, do you mind if we go on and just share what we had in mind? Okay, Martin, they were courteous enough to say yes. And so we had the conversation, and guess what? At the end of it, I think we can do that. They turned to one another. Don't you think we can do this then? Yes, Terry, I think we can do it. But let's go and make sure. And 3 days later, Brenda gets the call, and we have an additional $2 million that gets them to $5 million, and has been catalytic. Now, earlier in my experience, had someone said that at the outset of a conversation that was going to be precisely about what we were going to talk about, you know what I would have done? I would have thought, ain't happening today. And we would have talked about the Cardinals or something else, rather than about UMSL and their ability to make a terrific commitment to our university. So we grow in our competence, we grow in our confidence. It gives us puts us in the position then to perhaps be bold, but be wisely bold in how we engage our donors. Character is the sixth. Again, we're talking about foundational success factors. And if you think about if you think of a triangle, you have competence and confidence on the bottom. Character crowns. Character Our personal character crowns our competence and our confidence. Because yes, donors want people to be competent and to be able to engage them with confidence. But what they're really looking forward at the deepest levels is somebody with character. Being virtuous in how we conduct ourselves. Being humble, being grateful, putting them first as opposed to ourselves. Being hardworking, working hard for the donors, speaking the truth, being transparent with our donors and frank and candid, appropriately so, of course. Being trustworthy. We have a donor at our university who had given the university just under $30,000, and I asked her for $1 million. And she wanted to do it. And she had to talk to her advisors and this sort of thing. And in the course of that process of bringing the gift to closure, in one of our conversations, she said, "Martin, I'm trusting you." She said, "I'm trusting you." And I said to her, Mary, not her first name, I said, "Mary, it's all about trust." And isn't that true? What we do is all about trust. Now, she wasn't just trusting me. That statement wasn't about Martin or Martin alone, certainly. It was about Chancellor George. It was about the University of Missouri St. Louis. It was about the cause that she wanted to give her money for so that great things could happen with her investment. She was trusting in all of that and probably so much more. But we have to be trustworthy. We have to be worthy of trust and be perceived as worthy of trust. And as that grows in us, this great character, and I think you are all people of probably inestimable character, the greatest character here, and a few characters among us too. But that impacts donors and how they think about us and how they consider our organizations. And finally, seventh, we need to be resilient and be relentless, or become more resilient, more relentless in our work. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Now, how often do you have a difficulty with a donor and it's pretty tough to recover from? Have you ever had one of those great disappointments with a donor? It takes us down. This is a very emotional business that we're in, very emotional. And it's challenging to recover. But the more we work at it, if we hang in there and persevere, we can develop this resilience to bounce back quickly from the disappointments and the unexpected things that come our way in our profession and certainly in life as well. And then to be relentless. We have to be tenacious. I had a relatively new Chancellor's Counsel from Arizona. For 3.5 years, I pursued this gentleman. His name's Jack Berry, a great alum of our university. He's chairman of Enterprise Bank and Trust for the state of Arizona. And when he finally showed up at his first Chancellor's Council meeting, because he eventually agreed to do it, the Chancellor and I were chatting with each other, and he came up to us and said, "Chancellor George, I want you to know, this guy's the most relentless guy I've ever experienced." And you know what? I felt pretty proud about that. I felt good about that. That wasn't the negative. He understood that somebody was going to get him only by working really hard and long in order to get him, because he's a very, very, very busy guy. So being relentless, being resilient are certainly keys. Our work is a marathon. We're not done at 1 mile, we're not done at 10, we're not done at 20, it's 26 point, whatever it is. It's the whole marathon that we have to run. And let me close with this final thought. Celebrate your victories along the way. When I think about my 10 years here at the University of Missouri St. Louis, if there's one thing I regret, is that I haven't celebrated the victories and the victories of my fundraisers enough, oftentimes enough. So often we're locked in on the annual goal or a campaign goal, and we may get a number of terrific gifts, but we almost can't see them and appreciate them because we're so focused on getting to the goal. Rather than taking the time to say, "Oh my God, what an achievement, we just got this gift. Let's celebrate it appropriately." And it's not always the size of the gift, it's what it takes to close the gift. The easiest thing in our business, right, is asking for money. The hardest thing is closing the gift. And so when we close a gift that takes a long, hard time, it may not be the largest gift we've closed, but we should celebrate it because it speaks volumes about our commitment and dedication to our organization and to our donors as well. So those are 7 foundational success factors for you who are major gift fundraisers. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you very much.